Hello everybody. In this video I got inspired to make a very short astrological segment to kind of talk about work and kind of explain how the fact of going to work, it's like taking the same situation can be experienced in 12 very different ways, as experiencing it through the 12 different zodiac signs. And so before I just move forward into this, I just wanted to precise that I would not advise you to take this too much personally, in the sense that if I'm gonna want to get some information about work whatever is related to work in your life, just understand that it is not necessarily gonna be related to your sun sign, which is what you call your astrological sign. Because if I want to get much more into details, I would be much more looking at the midheaven, which is your 10th house. I would be looking at the 6th house in your birth chart. And so we all have a very different way to relate to work. And so the purpose of this video is just to have a very short side of what it would be like to experience it through each sign of the zodiac. And so we're gonna start with Aries, of course, which is the first sign. If I think about work and the sign of Aries, what it inspires me is gonna make me think that Aries, what's gonna really be interesting for Aries is action, of course, because Aries is ruled by Mars. And in a much more deeper way, I would say, it's not all gonna be just about action, but much more about Aries is that energy which is wanting to prove to the world that action is important, because it makes things just move, and it creates motion through an impulse. And so I would imagine that what Aries is gonna find into work, this is the kind of energy that is gonna be felt like fulfilling for Aries. Then if we move into Taurus is probably gonna be a bit different. Like, Taurus is a fixed sign, and Taurus is very much about the values and collecting, sort of gathering, material thing, including finance, but not limited to, in order to kind of secure the future, sort of like that. And so if I think of the work, going to work and working for a Taurus, most of the time, it's gonna be much more the pace is gonna be much more calm, and way more slower, than Aries. But it's more gonna be about a consistent, like you can feel this fixity of the Taurus sign, in his consistency, of hard work, and I would say very ordered as well, very kind of structured. Then if we move into Gemini, then it's gonna be a total different thing once again, because Gemini, I would think that in work is gonna take its pleasure, in gathering information and transmitting, because Gemini is all about collecting information and transmitting them, and it's a bit like the pleasure, would be just in in the curiosity. You know, Gemini is a very curious sign, not only about information. You know, it's an air sign, of course. It's gonna have pleasure with speaking, you know, and communicating in all sort of ways, but it might also bring some kind of fresh air, you know, some kind of childish joyfulness of just enjoying experiencing one thing and then another, you know. It's like with Gemini, it's like the pleasure is it's in the movement, you see. It's really like the pleasure of change. And then if we move into Cancer, it's gonna be very different once again, because Cancer is a cardinal sign. We're in a water sign, so to me, Cancer at work is gonna be really concerned about taking the others in account, you know, because Cancer is most of the time by nature a very careful sign about, you know, it's very caring about how the other feels, because it's a water sign, you know. It's very empathic, it's very sensitive, and so Cancer, I would imagine that Cancer in work is gonna bring structure, of course, because Cancer is a cardinal sign, so it's gonna want and take pleasure of keeping, you know, kind of the structure which works and which reliable from the past, you know, like kind of proved above time. And with this very personal Cancerian touch of being part of a family, you know, like kind of you're at work and Cancer is gonna make you feel like you're part of a family, you know, because this is very Cancerian thing. So then we move into Leo, and with Leo it's gonna be totally different once again, because Leo is by definition the leader, you know. Leo is gonna want, if it's fulfilled, you know, if it's fulfilling itself through works, through the work, Leo is really gonna want to lead, you know, and to express its creative force. Leo is a very creative sign by nature, and it's gonna really take pleasure in becoming an inspiring force, you know, an inspiring. And of course, it's not gonna be rare at all if you find a Leo which is gonna be a manager, you know, or some kind of leader, because it's, I mean, Leo is kind of designed to guide others as well, you know. And so if we move into Virgo, now we are typically now we find ourselves typically in the sign which is kind of designed for service, you know, like Virgo within the work, you know, is really gonna realize itself. It might seem a bit odd to say, but just by being of service, you know, like Virgo is by nature most of the time just like happy being of service to others, you know. And also to bring a specific talent, you know, a specific skill, and being perfecting things also, you know. Virgo is very much about perfecting things, you know, like systems. It's an earth sign, so we're gonna be most of the time into the realm of material things, you know, like you know, things related to the tangible, let's say. And Virgo is much about really, you know, being precise and having this kind of attention to detail. Virgo is really gonna be the specialist, you know, is gonna bring this kind of energy through work most probably. And then we're gonna move into Libra. And so Libra, what Libra might bring into work is of course a balancing energy, you know, because Libra, if the sun is expressing well, is gonna be all about bringing a sense of balance, you know, within conflicts, because there is no really interaction within, you know, humans, within system, within anything which is not gonna create some kind of conflict sometimes. And Libra has this ability to bring this energy of balancing everything, you know, so that everyone can express itself. For example, if you have a meeting, you see, Libra is gonna be the leader in the sense of giving this talk to everyone, you know, and the same amount of talk for everyone, and so that things can match, you know, like even different things, different points of view can really match into this this work, you know, with people, and yeah, and sort of make it all balanced so that, yeah, different points of view can just match. And then if we move into Scorpio, Scorpio, I would say, basically, you know, is Mars driven. It's a sign which is ruled by Mars, not only, but it is ruled by Mars, just like Aries is. And so in a basic way, I would say Mars, you know, is gonna appreciate action, you know, and kind of challenge, just like Aries will have this natural tendency, you know, to do so. But if we go a bit more deeper, you know, into Scorpio, we're really gonna get into the energy of digging deep for the truth, you know, like getting all the hidden information, you know, and secrets, and really, you know, Scorpio is gonna have this intuitive part, you know, who is gonna be able, you know, even to convince people, you know, by some kind of emotional force, you know, of convincing others, because it's related to Pluto. It is related to the notion of power, you know. And so Scorpio can really be, you know, like the commercial, you know, who's gonna sell the products, because it's like a challenge of convincing the other just by feeling, you know, feeling the other as if you could almost handle his feelings, you know, like by some kind of magic. So that's it for Scorpio. And if we move into Sagittarius, well, Sagittarius is a fiery sign, so by nature it's gonna be just like Aries and Leo. It's gonna have this very spontaneous, you know, spontaneous, active and enthusiastic, you know, kind of force to bring into work, you know. It might be or it might or might not be a leader, but it's gonna be most likely, you know, the person who's gonna really motivate others, you know. There's a very strong force of enthusiasm. It's very hard to say with Sagittarius. And then Sagittarius is gonna be about principles, you know. Sagittarius is gonna be about the rules, the laws, and there are these principles, you know, and it should be like that, you know, and the law should apply to this. And yeah, Sagittarius is gonna be, you know, much about this, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Sagittarius just, you know, basically needs something to believe in, you see. Then if we move into Capricorn, which is the next sign, well, Capricorn, we're back into an earth sign, and we're into the sign by definition of enjoying the challenge. And you know, Capricorn is very much about this energy of enjoying the challenge, you know, because the purpose is kind of the joy will come with the achievement, you know, of something, but only, you know, through like hard work, you know, like over time, very structured structured and repetitive sometimes, you know, sort of work, and the pleasure of Capricorn is gonna kind of, you know, get out of achieving things this way, you know, just because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, you know, which is kind of putting limitations, you know, and delay and discipline and hard work. It's about all this. And then if we move into Aquarius, now it's gonna be again totally different, because Aquarius is the sign by definition which is gonna really enjoy and take his pleasure into being part of a big idea, you know, a big idea, a big project, you know, an ideal almost, with being part of other people, because Aquarius is a sign of collective, you know, of the collective by definition. And so most of the time Aquarius is gonna take its pleasure, you know, yeah, just being part of this team with a common goal, you know, a common ideal, a common work to make the world a better place, you know. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, so it's very future focused, you know. And at the same time, Aquarius, it's also a sign of expressing what you really have original and unique, you know, to bring to the world. So it's a very distinctive energy like this. And yeah, most of the time Aquarian people, you know, when I've seen them at work, they're pretty much, you know, satisfied, you know, just by working in the team and always sort of enjoying help others, you know. It's never gonna be a problem to help someone, you know. It's most of the time. And what else? Aquarius, yeah, of course, it's linked to high tech, you know, and all that stuff, IT, technology by definition as well. And then we're gonna get into the last sign of the zodiac, which is also the most special to me, you know, very much, which is Pisces, of course, the most special thing of the sign of the zodiac, in the sense that Pisces is very like the chameleon, you know, the shapeshifter, you know. It's like Pisces is this very boundaryless or boundless, I don't know how to say, energy. And Pisces, as far as I've understood, is taking its pleasure, you know, of course, being with people, you know, and sharing emotions, you know, and sharing a part, a human, very human part, you know. Pisces is a very human sign, you know. It has this psychological touch, you know, but sometimes it might not even be aware or interested by psychology, you know. It might happen it might happen a lot of time, you know, that Pisceans get interest in psychology, but it might not be, and it's very about feeling, you know, this human experience that we're living, you know, and kind of making abstraction, you know, of the for example, if we talk about Virgo, you know, all the details, you know, and all the precision and all the rationality, you know. And Pisces is gonna be much more like, it's gonna be much more interested by the human experience into that, you know, and just the feeling that it feels to just being delved, you know, being really merged into the experience so much that the sense of self kind of disappears, you know, because Pisces is linked to this dissolution of the self. And yeah, so that's a very, very particular sign to me, because it's closing the zodiac. And this will as well close this video for today. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way, or just interesting, you know. And yeah, just stay tuned for the upcoming videos, because of course, as you might have understood, astrology is my passion, so I'm really looking forward to making more and more videos of this kind of on my channel. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.